They say handyman work is for chumps, but is that true? What if adding a handyman service could be the missing piece to skyrocketing your remodeling business?
Hello, this is the HackHour Podcast, a show where it's all about helping real, everyday, hardworking remodelers learn the secrets to having it all in life and business. And now, here's your host, Mike Menges.
Look, in today's episode, we're going to dive into why so many remodelers get it all wrong about small jobs and how you can use them to create a steady funnel of high-paying, loyal clients. Welcome back to the HackHour Podcast. I'm Mike Menges, founder of the Remodeling Academy and creator of the Remodel Games, the industry's first 5-day challenge to help you sharpen your remodeling business skills and dominate your market. And it gives you a chance to see how you compare to other remodelers. And I know you're curious about that. Look, today we're tackling a hot button topic, right? And it's been debated in remodeling circles for years. Handyman work, right? Is it really just for chumps? Is it really just for guys that can't hack it, as they say, in the big world of, big scale remodeling? So when I first launched my remodeling business, I thought this was the way it was, right? I'd hear from other guys in the remodeling industry. I would read about things in the industry forums, things like I was reading JLC, Fine Home Building, and I would see a similar message over and over again. You can't run a proper, successful remodeling business and make money as a handyman. So that first year that I was in business, I turned down almost every small job that came my way. I was like, well, I just don't know how to make it work. Like, no one else can make it work. They're all telling me, get away from the handyman business, be a big full service remodeler. That's where the money is, right? Man, looking back, I was completely ignorant of the potential. And the funny part, the people telling me to avoid the handyman work were the same ones that really they had tried, and because they had failed to make it work themselves, they were telling me not to do it. And here's what changed things for me, and how you could use handyman work to grow your business and outsmart your competition. So I've talked about before some amazing people that I've hired in my career and as a business owner. And again, I hired this amazing lead carpenter at one time, and he had previously worked for a national handyman chain. And the local franchise that this guy was working for, it was failing. And that's why he was looking for a new opportunity to come work for me. But here's the thing. The handyman, the design build company that he was leaving, it wasn't failing because the business model wasn't right or it was bad. It was just failing mostly because I think of some poor ownership decisions, right? Bad management. It happens, right? Owners maybe get focused on sometimes the wrong thing and they don't understand and they start going down a certain road and they might be stubborn, right? Sound familiar to some of you guys? So what's so interesting is here I am watching this company fail dramatically in our market, which was good for us because they were a competitor of ours for a while. And it opened my eyes to how we could actually use the handyman service and how it would complement our remodeling and our design build services, right? See, it got me thinking. I had just been looking at the situation wrong. I had gone into it with false beliefs, right? Listening to others, thinking that they knew what they were talking about. And over again, you will learn that, man, when the masses are telling you one thing, most of the time they are incorrect. Look for that small minority out there that speaks and beats to a different drum, right? So I start researching and looking more into other successful handyman models that were out there. I talked with a lot of different people, and we started breaking down different companies' operations. And I asked myself, how could I tailor this handyman concept and make it fit within my remodeling company? right? I knew that there was demand. We were getting a lot of calls for small jobs. And I'm like, why are we turning this business away? And we were turning it away because we didn't understand how to make it work and be profitable. And that was the dilemma, or that's the golden nugget, right? Is, wait a minute. We have to learn how to run our business differently because there's demand for it in the marketplace. So how do we make it profitable, right? So over time, the results were incredible. Not only did we figure out how to make the handyman work profitable, but even better, it became one of the best ways for us to land high value remodeling projects. And here's why. See, we started finding that we had a low barrier of entry to meeting new clients, right? Offering the handyman service was an exceptionally easy way for potential clients to experience what it was like working with us as a professional remodeling company. And this way they could experience it without having to commit to these big projects, right? Small projects, small risk, easy to go forward and take a chance. And what we were able to do then was to build trust and loyalty with our clients by over delivering on a small job, right? Making sure that we showed up on time, over communicating, letting them know this is the day that we're scheduled. This is the person that's going to be coming out. They'll be arriving around this time, contacting them the day before to remind them about the appointment, calling them that morning, letting them know the person's left the shop, they're on their way, right? All these little things that for some of you drives you nuts because you're overwhelmed, you don't have the staff to help support. Those were the things that made the difference and made us stand out. So here we are, we over deliver on these small jobs, and this is what it did. It set the stage for larger projects. Clients who trusted us for the quick repair were far more likely to call us back when they were ready for that big deck project or this kitchen remodel. And here's what's even better. There was no more bidding type wars and all these multiple competitors. See, once we had wowed the client on a small project, they'd often skip the whole bidding process entirely for a lot of these larger products. Why would they shop around when they already knew that they could count on us and trust us to deliver, right? The other nice thing about the handyman projects was we were able to use them to fill gaps and create effective scheduling and use that for sometimes when we might have a rain day or a slow week, right? And this kept us productive throughout the year. Now, how do you go about successfully incorporating handyman service in your business, right? And it's a process. So first you have to figure out how to price it right. And this was what we were not doing when I first tried it. See, you have to not undercharge. You have to charge more because it's a niche business and it's expensive to send a guy and a truck and tools to a homeowner's site. So you have to come up with a minimum amount and you explain to the homeowner that this is our service call. This is what it costs to get us out to your house. And we would be happy to perform more than just the task that you're asking us to do. What else could we do for you so that it makes it worth your while and ours? And that's how you work together, right? Handyman work is about selling conveniences and your expertise, right? You explain to them how you'll be able to come in and fix the problem so that they don't have to suffer with the problem. And it is a turnkey and go, right? Factor in things like your travel time. You have to factor in materials, labors, and you have to price jobs accordingly. And that's why you need to charge a little bit more than you're probably initially thinking. Now, we also learned how to streamline scheduling. So we would use a nice calendar and we could put things up on the board and we could see where we knew where our jobs were, what counties we were working in. So when calls came in for handyman service, if they matched up to where a crew was already operating, right, it made it very easy for us to explain to one of the carpenters, hey, this Thursday, you'll be running over to the Joneses to help take care of this, then going to the site, right? So this way you can batch jobs in the same area and minimize a lot of the downtime. And our carpenters, some of them would run a small handyman service call and then show up and help out at a larger job. Now, not every employee that you have is going to be able to do that. And we get into those types of things in some of our other courses where we help you determine which ones are best set up for that. But it does work. Now, you have to also understand how to be an effective marketer. I know a lot of you brag about, oh, I get all my work, it's all referral. I don't advertise. And I would say that's not the model that we followed. I wouldn't recommend you follow it. We found that when we started marketing our handyman service, it opened us up to a whole new set of clientele that we never would have gotten otherwise. There are so many people that move into a new area because their job transfers them and they don't know anyone. And so if you think you're getting it all from referrals, you are missing a ton of the market. Also, there are a lot of folks out there that will specifically not call a remodeling contractor first time because they are afraid it's going to be too expensive, and they are much more willing to call this handyman service first. Interesting point to keep in mind. So when you position your handyman service as like a premium offering, right, but not a budget, and you highlight your professionalism, your reliability, and your ability to handle jobs that other handyman can't, you'll get professionals that call you that are saying, hey, I can take off for half a day, but can you promise me that you'll get the job done? And we would look at the scope of work, say, you got it. And when people can count on you, they are willing to actually pay more for your service. We were more expensive than most of our competitors, but yet we offered a much nicer, more dependable service. And that's what homeowners ultimately wanted. So also, you start to learn how you can upsell strategically, right? You always leave the client with a list of like other potential projects that you notice while you're doing the small job. You mention how you could help them in the future, and you slide them over a little bit of a discount card and say, hey, if you ever need help with that, I noticed this, I noticed that. You don't try to sell it there in the moment, right? You're just like, we could help you in the future if you would like. And then you leave it at that. Now, I want to give you a real example, right? So one of our first handyman clients, it was just something simple. The homeowner had an older wooden door and they needed it fixed. And we found a way to, again, schedule that first thing in the morning. We were able to meet with them. They didn't have to take off a whole day from work, right? This was back in the day where people actually drove to work. Not everyone worked from home. So we were able to come in, handle it quick, and be professional. And because they counted on us and we showed up on time and we got the job completed quick, they were excited because they got to then go back to work. And what was also interesting was before we happened to leave this door repair, our carpenter explained to them that their deck seemed a little worn and probably could use some repairs. And the homeowner said, yes, we've been concerned about that. It has needed some repairs for some time. It's been getting worse. We left it at that. We thanked them for the door repair business, moved on. It wasn't but maybe 6 weeks later that they hired us for a full deck replacement, right? Now, this small door repair job that we probably charged, a very small amount, it led us then into a $20-some thousand project. Just like that, no competition. Come out, give them a price. When can you get started? How about this? And we moved forward. So if you're turning down handyman jobs because you think they're not profitable, it's time to rethink the strategy, right? So small jobs aren't just about the immediate payout, right? They're about opening the door to bigger opportunities and building lifelong client relationships. So are you ready to take your remodeling business to the next level? Are you curious, like what other things you might have been misled about in the industry? Are you curious to see how your business stacks up against other remodelers? Well, then consider signing up for the Remodeling Games Ultimate 5-Day Challenge, and you can learn new skills, and ultimately you get to see how your skills measure up against your fellow remodelers. So look, it's time for you guys to stop guessing and start growing. Go on over to remodelingriches.com and sign up for our challenge today. Don't just wonder if you're great, prove it, right? Show yourself. And let's see if you have what it takes to dominate your market. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode of the HackHour Podcast. I have had a lot of fun doing these. I enjoy sharing the stories and getting the feedback from many of you. So until next time, Be great. Keep doing well. And remember, guys, even the smallest jobs can lead to your biggest wins. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the HackHour Podcast. It would be awesome if you would leave us a quick review on iTunes. To further your remodeling success, go to remodelingriches.com.